Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI live coding. In this episode, I'm gonna do a little bit of improv with the vector noise and something that looks something like this. It's not actually. I wasn't actually planning to do this. It's end up looking like this electricity kind of stuff, but it's not what I'm thinking to do originally. But I'm gonna show you real quick. Um, I'll just call it this sausage flour. I already have that guy. Okay, we're gonna start with random vector. I probably have made something similar to this, but I will kind of expand a little bit. So imagine we have like a random number, like 20 of them. We know that we can control the seed, we can control the scaling, and we also have we can scale this up to 0 or minus even. Okay, with that fact, we can have two of these. So one of them, zero it out, like that. Everything at 0, 0, 0. But we know that this is like, how do I say, two group of points, and we can connect the dots between the two. And we know we can just use list zip for that, and we get that. Not so useful at the moment unless we use UV connection to connect the dot. Okay, now we have something like this. If I scale this one, we can see, okay, that's how the points are connected together. They are all like separate edges. We actually need it in the we need the edges and do it in the U directions. You don't need to do the slicings. Still 20. Currently they are actually still separate data. If I bake them, they are all separate edges. So that can be advantageous, but for what we are doing, we're just gonna combine them together. Mesh join is our node that does that. So vertices and polygon edges, combine them together and then bake them. Now we have this flower, but currently it's just edges. We need a way to kind of turn them into like a real mesh with thickness. Actually in here we can make sure the count is the same for both of them. So let's make like 25 for now. It's a simple, nothing much, and we can now turn them into like a sausage by using the skin measure. Just plug the vertices and the edges and turn on live. Now we have this, and we can control the radius X, radius Y. It's actually super handy. For now we just keep it simple and make them the same. So we have this sausage. Of course we can do a little bit more with this sausage. Before we mesh join it, if I do this vector interpolation mk3, plug the vertices into this guy, and then use a range float with a count from 0 to 1 count. Supposedly this will do like some kind of resembling for each of the edges. Let's just resample it 10 times, and the edges is not useful anymore. We need to use another UV connection over there, and by doing that we have our line. Now let's randomize the seed and find the one we like. Okay, maybe something like that. Okay, so yeah, we can use this right away, or maybe randomize it a little bit more. You can also use a vector noise. This is working fine. Vector noise also can be more interesting, and we can use range integer, and depending on how many lines here, we're gonna create a seed, random seed for each one of them. Start, step, and a count. Okay, 25 of them. This is gonna be the noise. Vector in, vector math, noise, and original points, and then add them together. So we have this. Add. Okay. Now that looks pretty random. Actually, maybe the noise is too strong, so we gotta reduce that. We're gonna use another vector math, scalar, and reduce it. That's slightly more random. Now we can simply mesh join them. And our sausage is a little bit more random, and this is yeah, it's really simple. How long was it? It's very fast. We can turn this into thinner sausage. Okay, now with the sausage we can colorize it. Currently, because we mesh join it, the result is actually a single mesh. And the advantage of a single mesh is the speed. We can actually have a lot more, like 100 even. And this is still super fast and very interactive. This is the advantage, and then we can kind of scale it. So I don't know, I think it's a quite nice setup. If you want to colorize it, we can use the technique from previously. Simply, so this is the sausages. You can have another node tree. Actually, just append from the previous one. Where is it? Blender today. Colorizing shell demo. Okay, I think this is the node tree from previously that's can colorize the shell. Let's use this real quick. Oh, actually, this guy. We're gonna grab our this sausage flour, and then this is for the color. We need a random number, actually random vector, yeah. And then we use the math to turn with absolute, plug into the data how many the count is based on the length of the objects after we separate them. So it's from this guy, polygon page, I think from this guy. Check the value. Currently, make sure this post modifier is on, and then we can see, okay, 25. Okay, good. That's the value for our random vector mk2, and this random vector is gonna spit out xyz value, 25 of them, and then it's gonna be the color for our sausages. For the sausages, we need to create a material. I'm gonna do that real quick. And the material, instead of diffuse, I'm gonna use emission. I'm gonna use the attribute, and this guy already have the color from Spreadshop vertex color. Plug that in, and we should have something. Okay, we didn't get anything. Let's check out what happened. Okay, SV call. plug into the color. This is the emission. Everything seems to be correct. So this is the wrong one. Colorize me. Make sure we have the right value. List join, polygon index, list length. Okay, maybe this should come from this guy. 25 data absolute. Check with stethoscope, and we just have our crashing. That's because I'm actually rendering here as well. So it's I often have two Blender running in the background. So let's just reload real quick. Basically, the idea is to we have our sausages, and it's a single object with multiple shell, and I just want to colorize it using the previous setup. Okay, we're back. Polygon, blah blah blah. Okay, seed, scale, stethoscope. Check the number. Absoluto. Okay, that should be okay. Everything should work properly. Face. Why is it not getting any color? Oh, I know why. That's because this guy is still. If you look at this guy and then go to edit mode, it's actually just made of edges, bunch of edges. So this guy become an intermediate object, and we should actually hide this guy. Don't render it. What we should render is the intermediate value. We need to bmesh, use a viewer bmesh mk2, and then using, this is a tricky bit, vertices and polygon from this guy goes out. It's become the beta, and make sure this is post modifier is after the modifier, and for this guy should be merged. Vertices, and here we're actually doing like a separate loose part, and we need to separate it and merge it back together. So this is quite a, might be a little bit of a heavy process. I believe it should work like this. So it's merged back, and it's now become a beta object, and then the beta object goes into this guy to get the color. Okay, so hopefully this works. Okay, cool. So this guy works. Spreadshock will colorize it, and whenever I update the frame, it's gonna colorize it using our generated value here. Okay, so it works really well. So now our sausages get its value, and the whole thing is really still magically procedural. So if I actually go back to the sausages maker here and make it like 100, and then if I update it, it's gonna have to do some calculations. The heaviest part is probably the separate loose. Let it calculate for a few seconds, and then we are back. We should get all different value for the sausages. So this is, yeah, I guess this is quite nice. We can use emission or maybe glass. Glass can be nice. Although it's too dark at the moment. Mix shader, this guy, emission and glass, and maybe Fresnel, old school trick. It may work, but it might not work as well. Depends on what you're doing. But that's giving the sausages a little bit more solidity because it's glass and it's also emission. Yeah, I guess that's one quick trick. Currently the value is if we observe this, instead of in render, let's go to vertex paint. This is a lot faster like this. We go to SketchUp colorize me. Instead of random vector, we can also use the noise. So vector noise and oh, this actually takes quite a while. But once it gets calculated, it should be good. So this got separated. Okay. I'm gonna use line. And the vertices should come from okay, I need to connect it properly in order for this to work. So we have 100 sausages, and the sausages should go into the vertices of the line, and in the line, these points will drive the vector noise, and the vector noise XYZ will become the RGB color. So this is gonna give hopefully a better looking color. Okay, yeah, see, it's a lot more subtle. This is actually vector noise, and we don't need to see the dots there. Go back to sausages maker and just hide these. Save file, save often, and whenever it crashes, you don't need to worry. Back to object mode and render. And now the color looks supposedly more subtle. Maybe my color management film like this thing definitely gives a better contrast on the render. However, you need to always tweak it. False color, actually high contrast is better. Base contrast. Okay, that's a quite good looking sausages flour. So yeah, this is another look at the creation of this kind of flour. Maybe we can definitely do more into this, play around with the noise, turn it into like you know, the sphere with electricity. I don't know what it's called, but you know what I mean. And I guess this is quite nice. Previously, I don't think you're able to create this so easily, and you might need to program it or using some kind of array magic. or even particles. And you can certainly do this manually, but the way we set it up, it's like how many steps? It's maybe 20 step procedure, and everything's becoming very streamlined. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess if you have any question and feedback suggestion, let me know down below, and I'll reply as soon as possible. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you anyway. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.